Thank you so much for Astute sponsoring Sleep Month as well. Really appreciate everything that you guys are doing, the amazing work that you guys are doing. Since you was last on, are you able to let me know of any developments at Astute? Maybe some things have changed, any updates, etc.?
There's an update coming soon, Dean, but it's not quite publicly there. Maybe in the next couple days.
You
Um,
can't tease me like that, Becca. You can do
I,
that.
I'm under contract to not reveal yet. You will be my first person I tell with big news. I am going to start a podcast soon. I'm going to try and learn from my mentor, Dean. I'm always happy to come on your podcast to talk to you. You are one of my most favorite people in the entire world. So, podcast coming for me soon, and then some other updates. Mum's the word for now, but it's coming. Big news.
Fantastic. Excellent. So I think last time I came and visited Astute, how I came across you was I was doing retreats for myself, for the community, dipping my toes into retreats, and I was looking at locations in North America, Central America, and then I came across your place, which obviously in Chicago is a big city,
Yep.
and I just love the option of what your service is all about. It, which is if you're in a city, don't think that you can't still have this wellness retreat experience, and you've really built your business upon that. Are you able to just give a brief explanation about all the things you guys are doing in regards to that, for those who may not know?
Yeah, we've actually expanded a bit since you've been here too, Dean. I think our yoga program had just kind of been started when you came. We had a
Yeah.
couple instructors. We've got 10 instructors now, classes 7 days a week. We're really adding more holistic fitness classes on top of the yoga, meditation, mindfulness things we already had. We're also really into somatic work. So we have a new instructor who's outstanding. And we know for mental health, the body is really where you store a lot of these issues, right? So you can focus on the mind, which we do here at Astute. We have over 20 clinicians who do therapy practice. But in conjunction with that, you have to work outside of those four walls of therapy for 50 minutes. I mean, it's just not enough time. It's great. Therapy is wonderful, but it's not enough. So I opened the wellness side of things. And like you said, we've got tons of different holistic services that are evidence-based and backed to say that they help with the treatment of mental health, whatever disorder you're dealing with or whatever symptoms. So we've got the somatic classes, yoga, mindfulness. Dean, you tried a lot of these things here. Acupuncture. I don't think you were here when we had body work. We have cranial sacral work. So the body work is amazing. Ning, she's from Thailand, and she does a combination of different kinds of body work. She gets on the table, she's stretching you, she's manipulating your body, but it's all backed by energy work. So she incorporates acupuncture and some cranial work too. Reiki, sound bath, both individual and in group classes. We have a dozen kinds of massages here. Massage is obviously a big one. Infrared sauna. We have a new infrared room, a bamboo room with a
Amazing.
big sauna. Oh, it's so good, Dean.
I
It
love
makes
that.
infrared is different than a sauna. It heats your body as opposed to like a regular sauna that heats around you. So you heat up really quick. You
Oh, so
really sweat.
is it a different feeling when you go in than a typical sauna?
Yeah, you're not suffocated by hot air. The air does not get hot. It directly heats your body. So it's super comfortable to do.
Okay.
There's also different kinds of light therapy. So you can do red light, blue light. They all have different things. Red light's great for skin. Blue is good for mood, anxiety, sleep. So that's kind of a new addition. And I finally did, Dean, get my green space, my Zen garden up. You missed it when you were
Fantastic.
here. It is up. It's beautiful. We do yoga out there. There's a space to sit, chat, journal, eat, drink fresh pressed juice. So we're still doing our workshops. We're still kind of grinding over here. I'm just trying to get, people who want to be the best version of themselves can come to Astute, shop our retail section, do a class, have therapy, and just really focus on outside work outside of those four walls of therapy.
And as you know, Becca, a lot of people who dealing with mental health, they're going through this often alone because they feel isolated, they feel trapped in their own body, their own mind. For someone who may want to come over to Astute but may not have the courage to go on their own, is there like a community feel? Like, how can they be rest assured that when they go in, they're going to be they're not going to get too overwhelmed and want to leave, etc.
It's everything here is boutique. So it's not like a corporate yoga program, right? So our yoga program is really small. Our classes only fit between 9 and 14 people, depending on what kind of you're doing. And they are absolutely a community. They make friends in classes. You don't have to either. If you're an introvert and you're like, I just don't want to be, I want to come in and do my thing and leave. But we have people who attend the same classes every week. It's a small community. It's not overwhelming. There's no corporate feel of rushing. Everybody comes 20 minutes early. They drink their tea before class. We have journals sitting out so you can kind of journal your thoughts. You get into class and you see the same faces and the same instructors. We also have yoga therapy, which I don't think was here when you
No,
were here.
definitely.
So it's a
So,
different instructor. She's got her 500 hours of yoga and then 800 additional hours of mental health based therapeutic practice. It feels like you're in a therapy session for your body. They do journaling, they do prompts, they do yoga. She curtails the class to whatever you have going on. And our Wednesday night class is virtual. So even if you have folks who aren't in
no.
Chicago, you can join. It's 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. And she, whatever you have going on, anxiety, physical health, she can do that. I saw somebody comment, we have 2 new Pilates classes at Astute. We have so much going on, Dean. I literally am forgetting, but yoga lattes, Pilates, a fit fusion class, which uses weights. It's cardio based. It gets you moving. When you were here, everything was pretty slow based and mindful. And so we've evolved. So whatever you need, whatever you are going through, whatever you have going on, there is something here for you at Astute. If you're just starting your wellness journey, you're self-conscious about your body, you haven't been working out, you don't have someone to come with, you come to a basic slow vinyasa class and meet some people who are like-minded, who want to focus on themselves. Start your community here.
No, I love that. And just going back to the virtual classes, obviously a lot of our community is around the world. Can you
Yeah.
just let me know how, like, what they would expect to experience? You said it's on a, did you say a Wednesday night?
Virtual is Wednesday at
Yeah.
7 p.m. That's central, right? So
Yeah.
it's a central time. I don't know what time that is for you. I think it's a 6 hour difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a different feel. I mean, virtual is different, but the camera is not pointed at anyone in the classroom. It's pointed at the instructor. So it feels like a one-on-one class.
no.
Um, and if you have your own yoga mat at home and you have a journal, you can get very, very strong benefits. It's at night, so it's supposed to, and this will incorporate into the discussion today for sleep, but it's a later class at 7 p.m. because yoga therapy is used for folks who have insomnia. It's to relax the body, to calm the nervous system. So it's different. You're not getting the community feel, but some people don't want that. They want to do their work, turn it off, and go to bed.
No, that's so true. And just talking about yoga therapy just before we move on. So is it separate? So is it yoga and therapy, or is it like, or are you journaling while in a stretch? Can you just explain
It
that
is
part?
it is so good, Dean. She starts off the class taking notes on everyone who's there. It's like a little mini intake. There's a really good video on my Instagram page. I show the entire yoga therapy class. So you start off by kind of giving
I'll
her
share that
what
to
you
the
need. It's
stories
so
as well.
good. It's so
Yeah.
good. So it starts off with her asking you, what are you here for? And you say, I have physical ailments, I have anxiety, my back hurts, whatever. So she curtails each class and she can fit something in for everyone. You're not journaling at the same time. You journal intentions beforehand. Then
Mhm.
she does yoga, breath work, meditation. She does a lot of muscle relaxation. It's so good. And then at the end, she kind of has you journal about, where are we now? Where were we when we started? It literally does feel like you're in yoga, but also a therapy practice for mind and body. It's unique, it's different. Not many people offer it. It's really an expensive program. And we have a second instructor coming up with this yoga therapy certificate, and it's unique and it's great. I think it's the best thing to move from therapy to yoga therapy. If you're a little nervous about trying things out, that's a good segue. Or if you're nervous about trying therapy, do yoga therapy. You can see what it's kind of all about. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I love that. So moving on to more specifically, obviously, like you say, we're coming towards the end of Sleep Month, which is
Right.
always good to recognize and spread awareness on the value of sleep, on how when you're dealing with mental health issues, anxiety specifically, you often have this relationship of either a fear of not getting enough sleep, and then when you don't get enough sleep, that can then heighten your anxiety, etc. How would you say that Astute Wellness approaches clients struggling with sleep related anxiety?
It's very real. Sleep is literally the basis for how our entire day is going to be set up. So if you're someone who struggles with sleep, depending on, you know, how serious of a struggle you have, it can really impact how you're feeling throughout the entire day and the night before. If you're concerned about not getting enough sleep, we start at the basics of figuring out, what is the fear of not getting enough sleep? Because when you break it down into like worst case scenario, there's not a strong worst case scenario for not getting enough sleep. Your next day is just not good and you don't feel good. There's so many things you can do to rectify an issue with sleep that we start basically with psychoeducation. And I can go into that if you want me
Yeah,
to. It's
please do, please.
the psychoeducation behind sleep, Dean, is that you have to understand that sleep does not start at 30 minutes before your bedtime. Okay. So your sleep hygiene, your sleep wellness, your sleep program has to start the moment you get up in the morning. Okay. So we're not talking at 9, 10, 11 p.m. I'm talking about as soon as you get up in the morning, you have to open up your blinds and start to get that light in there. The light is part of the circadian rhythm. You need to have your body's clock set to know that in the morning, that light means it's time to get up. It's time to wake up. Okay. So if you are in total darkness when you wake up, your body's clock has not reset to say it's morning. It's time to get up. It's kind of start feeling good. So straight away, if you struggle with sleep, you can also get a sleep light. The sleep light is great. As soon as you get up in the morning, if you don't have a strong window in your room or a place you can get light, the light therapy is great. You can buy them on Amazon. They're not super expensive. The key is you want to have 10,000 lux. That is the clinical version of telling your body it is time to get up and we're resetting your clock for daytime. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is how much coffee are you drinking in the morning? Are you drinking pop, in the morning when you get up? Limiting your caffeine in the morning and throughout the day is going to set you up for success for your sleep cycle at night. So that's number two. Number three, what are you doing throughout the day? If you're like me, Dean, I'm assuming you're similar. You sit down a lot. I don't move my body a whole lot during the day. It's an effort that I make to make sure that I'm burning off energy and I'm tiring my system so that at nighttime I'm not wide awake. I don't do physical activity late at night because, again, that's telling your body like we're ready to move. We want to do stuff. Do it in the morning, do it in the afternoon, and even in the early evening is fine. But your body needs a way to tire itself out so when it comes bedtime, you're not wired. Sugar, carbs, all of those things, you have to be careful what you're consuming throughout the day. Those kinds of foods and not proper nutrition, they make you crash, they make you tired, they make you want to do what? Take a nap. What do we know about napping through the day, Dean? It's amazing. It's lovely. It messes with our clock, right? So if we're sleeping during the day, you've now just set your clock at, well, you actually, bedtime is at 12 p.m., not 9 p.m. Okay. So do you see how I'm saying that, like, it's not about just a bedtime routine? I've got lots of really great things you can do for bedtime. You have to be cognizant throughout the entire day to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, moving your body, having the proper nutrition. And when bedtime comes, after you get a chance to chime in here, I can tell you about great bedtime routines to reset your clock at night. Now it's bedtime. We don't need light. We don't need phones. We don't need any of those things. It's about temperature, light, all of the things you can do in the evening to start your clock over again to say, that's it, we're done. And your brain responds to that.
Yeah, so I love everything that you said there, especially so the artificial light, as long as you have the strength that you mentioned, literally have
10,000 lux. 10,000 lux is the
10,000 lux.
clinical grade. I think the one I have was $30. And in the morning when I get up, I don't use blinds. I want the natural light to come in as soon as it does, and I wake myself up through that.
Mhm.
I know how important it is to get vitamin D just in
But
general. You need direct
very
vitamin D,
important.
but my clock is reset at 5:30 a.m. or whenever the sun. But I use the light anyway. So when I'm sitting there Instagramming, doing the things that I do in the morning, I have my light right here, and it's giving me extra light because Not only is it important for just regular daytime clock setting, it's also great for seasonal affect disorder. In the winter, it's not easy here to get direct light.
Same in the UK, yeah,
You
definitely.
have to
I love that,
do something.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've never mentioned someone talk about caffeine in the morning, interrupting caffeine at night, interrupting sleep at nighttime. We hear a lot of people say, "Oh, make sure you reduce your caffeine intake. Maybe like stop drinking caffeine after midday or 2 o'clock in the afternoon." What's the reason that you think it's important not to have too much caffeine in the morning, and how does that have a knock-on effect to the evening?
Well, caffeine causes anxiety, right? So if you're having 3 cups of coffee in the morning, you're setting yourself up to have an anxious day. When you have an anxious day and you're not working to do the things we talked about, which are stress relieving things, yoga, meditation, going for walks, moving your body, you're anxious at night. It's much more difficult to calm the mind at night if you're feeling anxious. So you want to alcohol is another one too. You don't want to have a ton of alcohol. It's hard to get a really good night's sleep under the influence of alcohol, but you just want to monitor your caffeine because you want to set yourself up for success throughout the entire day. Caffeine equals anxiety, anxiety equals trouble sleeping, and it keeps you up at night with your brain going round and round.
Yeah, and there's a lot of scientific studies, and I think that really leans into what you're saying. Of where you, if you wake up in the morning, don't give yourself half an hour, however long you can give yourself. If you're waking up and rushing and then going to your job or wherever it is, that mindset that you're in, that way that you've started your day is known to continue throughout the day. So you like if you start off rushed and stressed, then that's going to continue into your day. So I think that's what you were leaning into, that you don't really want to start with triggering anxiety in the morning because then that can linger throughout the day. And
Absolutely.
like you say, then you can have higher levels of anxiety, which is yeah, that's really good advice.
Mhm.
Can you walk us through what a session focused on sleep and calming the mind would look like at Astute? So if I came to you and I said, Becca, I'm having trouble sleeping, which sort of session would you point me in the direction of, and why?
I would first need to know like how serious is your sleep, right?
Okay.
Because it does matter. If you're just saying I can't fall asleep or I can't stay asleep, that's different than saying I've been up for 3 nights. So there's a different like do we need a clinical intervention here with like a psychiatrist or
Mhm.
can we handle things on our own? So one of the things I would do in a session with a patient is I would first talk about the importance of a morning routine, which we dove into that.
Mhm.
Less caffeine, getting up 20 minutes earlier so you're not rushing because you don't want to be rushed. You don't want to be rushed doing things. You don't have time to practice gratitude, do daily affirmations in the morning. All of those things are super important to set you up for success for the day. But at nighttime, you have to now tell your body, okay, we're done. We're done here. So, one of the most important things, Dean, and I'm pretty sure you and I are both going to be guilty of this one,
Mhm.
is you can't use your phone up until bedtime. You can't watch TV. I just explained why light triggers that it's time to get up. So if you have lights going on in TV and then if you're going to bed 10 minutes later, your brain is like, nope, you just told me it's time to get moving, jumping jacks, let's do this. It's hard to fall asleep. So you want to stay away from phones. I think they're saying now it's about 45 minutes to an hour before bedtime. And the temperature is super important for your evening reset. So taking a hot shower at night is really great. Using essential oils, they're amazing for your shower to calm the system. Drinking hot tea is something really great. The heat lets us know the day is done. It's warm, it's calming. We're ready to do this. And something I tell everyone is to incorporate magnesium. Magnesium should be a part of every single person's supplement intake. It's one of my most favorite things. Not only does magnesium calm the nervous system, it works with neurotransmitters, lowers cortisol levels, it relaxes your muscles, it supports the natural production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us with our sleep cycle. So those are all really important. Then when it's bedtime, dark, no light, no TV, no nothing. It needs to be a little bit colder because we sleep better in the cold. And that's kind of where I start. I evaluate what are you doing with your sleep routine in the morning and the evening. Then I would go into anything you do here at Astute will benefit your sleep. Everything is backed clinically. Even our massage therapists are trauma informed. They understand the body, they understand the mind. Sound bath, Reiki, that is like literally a massage. Sound bath is where they play the Tibetan singing bowls.
Oh yeah, love
Vibration.
it.
Oh, that's right, you did it. So remember the Tibetan singing bowls, a tuning fork. And maybe you can speak a little bit on it, but people say after a Reiki session, which is just energy work, sound bath, it's like a massage for the inside out. And it people have said they had the best night's sleep of their life after doing a Reiki sound bath or vibrational sound. What did you think, Dean?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I love the holistic approach to overall wellness maintenance, isn't it? So I think that no matter if you've got high levels of anxiety every single day and you're struggling, then doing all this is great. But if you don't have high levels of anxiety, I think it's good for your overall stress, so the overall maintenance. So yeah, if we're speaking about sound baths, I think for people who are overthinkers, often get lost in their thoughts. I think that was very, very good. And my experience was that it was very mindful, very good at anchoring, very good at staying in the present, and very good at actually being able to observe your thoughts because you have this anchor of the sound. Like
Mhm.
you say, you have the calmingness of the vibrations, you have the stillness, and it's just a good way to be present in the moment and acknowledge that you're not your thoughts, you're not your physical sensations. And I feel like, yeah, sound therapy was really beneficial for that.
We have an evening sound bath on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, and she specifically does it for better sleep. And I'm not an expert with sound therapy. We have a girl who does this. She's amazing. She's wonderful. But that evening one is a candle lit sound bath with blankets, eye masks. You're
Mhm.
wrapped up like a cocoon, and she's playing Tibetan singing bowls around you. Your sleep that night will be the best sleep you've ever had because she has, again, set you up for success. We're setting
Yeah.
people up for success with sleep. It's all about that, starting from morning to evening success.
So I've got a great question, Becca, because I know there'll be people in the
Okay.
community saying this, and that is, I have ch I they'll come back and they'll say, I have children, I don't have that time in the morning, or I have a nighttime routine with a baby that's just born,
Yeah.
or I work late, or I work night shifts, or all these things, all these comebacks, because we know that people have stressful lives, we know that people have families, we know that people have busy lives. How can we incorporate these things into people who are active with maybe two, three, four children or new children?
I mean, Dean, I'll be very honest with you and your listeners. I own a wellness center. It is free for me to go. I could do it whenever I want to, and I personally struggle to get in to do all the things that I want to do. That is legit. I'm a single parent. I have several jobs. I run a practice solo. My kid's very active. The only way to make these things work is to A, believe that they're important and you deserve them. As soon as you change that mindset that it's not a luxury, this is part of eating lunch. This is as important as you eating lunch, as important as you moving your body. The moment you decide to yourself that I matter and my health matters, it makes it a lot easier to say, okay, fine, I'm going to make time for it. The only way I can get these things done, we're busy, is to pencil it into my schedule. And I treat it as if it's a doctor's appointment or something I cannot, if I had a boss, this is an appointment with my boss that I cannot miss. I put it in my schedule. I block myself off. Nothing else goes there. Um, having kids, it's hard. You want them to go to bed at 7, 8. Sometimes they don't, and then it's hard. That's why you want to set yourself up for multiple opportunities through the day, so you're not relying on one of them to work. Again, something as simple as gratitude journaling or affirmations in the morning. Get up 20 minutes earlier. Self-care can be a hot shower with essential oils. Get a eucalyptus, dried eucalyptus, hang it in your shower. It feels like you're at a spa. It doesn't need to be a full day of wellness for you to get the benefits. Do them small, do them often, do them multiple times a day. If you can get away from work to walk for 20 minutes and move your body, that is something you're working towards to set yourself up for success. You have to believe that it's important. You have to want it, and you will find the time if you make that switch from luxury to necessity.
Yeah, and I love what you said, Becca, just your honesty and I completely reiterate what you say is that even though we know these tools and we advocate for mental health and we know the benefits of everything, even for ourselves, we don't do this every night. I personally see myself working till 10, 11, 12 o'clock because I'm on a different schedule. I know that's not good for me. So when we're having these discussions, I think it's important to say that we're speaking from experience and we're speaking from being human as well, that it's very hard to stick to this. And we can learn from just having the conversation as well of how to be better in ourselves.
Dean, how important is your health to you? How important is it to you that you don't struggle with anxiety? How important is it to you to feel good? Because that changes. And I'm like you, I work very late at night and I get up very early in the morning. There's not a whole lot of downtime. But if I'm working until 11 o'clock at night and I know I have things to do, I say to myself, I don't want to feel like badly tomorrow. I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning anxious. It ruins my entire day. It ruins getting my son ready for school. It literally sets me up for a train wreck. I'm not working from 10 to 10:30. That's when I'm going to do my self-care. And you have to put it in terms of like, how badly do you want to feel good, right? How badly do you not want to be anxious or depressed? How much time, because it's work to feel good. You know, the misconception is people are happy just because. It's not true for the majority of us. I have to put time, energy, and effort into feeling good. Otherwise, I don't. And on those days where I feel badly, something you can do is write it down. I hate the way I feel. I hate being anxious. I hate these thought patterns that I have that I can't do it. I wished yesterday I had taken 20 minutes of my time instead of working to relax, detach, get off social media, and do something for myself. That's it.
Yeah, and that's great. And one thing I would say, Becca, is that, and again, speaking of personal experience, I've fallen into this trap before, is that when you're in crisis, so you're dealing with anxiety a lot, you often reach to doing all of these great wellness things. Where you say you get a good routine, your sleep habits do improve, you start to look after yourself. However, once you overcome the anxiety
Uh,
and then go back to normal life, I found that I sort of stopped doing the
of
things
course.
that were beneficial for me because I didn't see them as an urgency.
Mhm.
What advice would you have for someone who's maybe overcome anxiety, but they're not still doing that same routine that got them in this place of recovery?
Dean, I think we're all guilty of that, right? Going whether you're going to the gym, whether you're eating healthy. It's interesting. I was looking at something about New Year's resolutions in January, and they said that the big drop for New Year's resolutions is 17 days in. So people can do these positive things for 17 days, and then they just can't do it anymore. One of the things that I think is really key to remind yourself is it's not about just doing these things for some sort of goal. It's about making it a life practice, right? You actually have to incorporate these things into your schedule. So it's not a chore to do them, it's part of your actual routine. It takes 21 days to make something a habit, right? It takes 21 days for you to make something a habit. If you don't consistently practice what we're preaching, and you fall off when you're feeling good, it'll be a very quick reminder that I don't like the way I feel. And having that recognition and awareness to say, oh my gosh, I can put these things together. There's one piece of the puzzle missing here. That's taking care of myself. There's a correlation, a cost benefit analysis here, which says when I take care of myself, I felt really good. When I am not taking care of myself, I do not feel well. How badly, we're going right back. How badly do you want to feel well? How badly do you want to not feel anxious and have it take over your day? Get back on the horse. We're getting right back on the horse. Start small again, just like you did to get back on it. Do your journaling, move your body, take a somatics class, do yoga therapy, get back into mental health therapy. The great news is there's no failure with this. You can always start over again. And that's okay. I've done it a million. I've probably done it a million times, Dean. You probably have too. Healthy eating, nutrition, going to therapy, going to the gym. I fall off and then I feel badly. You think you failed, move on. We all fail at things in our lives. Get back out there. There are things readily available for you to feel good. Use them.
And I think the trap is that when you stop doing it for a while, you still might be feeling okay because we know that stress builds up over time. So then you get almost this false sense of security that, oh, well, maybe I don't need to do as much as I was doing when I was anxious because, oh, I was going through a real hard time then. That was when I really needed to put all my focus in, and the
Yeah,
urgency isn't there anymore. So I feel like we fall into this trap of that when we stop doing the things, we still feel okay, but we don't realize that we're setting ourselves up for in
so
two,
true.
3, 4 months time of
So true.
maybe another burnout, another anxiety flare up, etc.
It's so true, Dean, and that's why it's so important to make it part of your lifestyle. We can't just do these things for fad. We can't just do them when we're feeling badly. You have to do them all the time. I mean, it really is a full lifestyle change to be happy, to be mentally fit, if you will. And again, we're all going to fall off at some point. That's okay. We're human beings. We can't be perfect all the time. The number of patients I've seen over the years who are like, you know what? I'm actually feeling really good. I think I'm good with therapy, and I think to myself, okay, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay, and in my mind, I always say, I'll see you in a couple months.
Mm.
That's what I think to myself. I'll see you in a couple months because therapy, like moving your body, like eating good proper food, good proper sleep hygiene, therapy is the same thing. When you stop doing it and you remove yourself from that accountability and that professional help, it usually creeps back up. And that's why we say drop to bi-weekly. Your therapist isn't trying to, most therapists are not trying to convince you to stay for financial reasons. We want you to feel good. If you are feeling good, let's try bi-weekly. You do that for a while. Let's do monthly. Do check-ins. Have that accountability that you're saying, I am making my mental health a priority. I have patients I've seen for 10 years that come in monthly, every month, and it's now their routine, and that's what we have to do, is make it a consistent routine that we stick to. And when you fall off, and you will, you get back on.
Yeah. And I love that. I absolutely love that approach. Like you say, if someone who feels like they've recovered and feels like they don't need it anymore, just like you say, offering that bi-weekly, monthly call, just so they have that outlet there. I think that's I'm not sure how many therapists are doing that, but I think it's a real great approach into keeping someone, like you say, in that state that they're in, because all nothing doesn't tend to work. You need to find that balance, don't you?
With everything, a balance with everything we do, not even just specifically therapy, balance with what you're putting in your body, a balance with what you're watching, social media, TikTok. It's everything we do is really about balance, and it's no different with how we treat our mental health. Yeah, I don't know if therapists do bi-weekly. I don't know if they do monthly. We do because we want to extend the offer to continue with positive mental health for as long as you need. Now, that doesn't mean you'll be in therapy for the rest of your life. Not everybody stays for 10 years, but you taper off and then you really, really learn the skills. It becomes now part of your routine that you're practicing the things outside of those four walls of therapy. Because remember, this whole time you're in therapy, you're supposed to have been eating properly, attending our yoga therapy class, doing sound bath and Reiki, seeing Ning for acupuncture, doing the infrared sauna on a regular basis, because at some point you'll be able to loosen up on a couple of these things, and maybe therapy at some point after going from bi-weekly to monthly, you can ease up on. Maybe it's every 2 months, maybe it's every 3 months, but you just can't abruptly stop any of the things you do because you don't feel well. It is work. It is work. I can't say it enough. It is work to be happy. Don't listen to social media. Don't listen when you see these people who are smiling and their houses are totally clean and their kids are happy and they're skipping around. That's not how real life usually works. You have to put in the effort to feel good. You just do.
Yeah, I think with anxiety recovery, like you say, this holistic approach to wellness and feeling good, I think it all comes down to mindset. I really do. I think mindset is key. And when someone shifts that mindset, and like you say, and says, okay, now it's time to focus on me, not just for myself, but for my children, for my
Yes.
family, for my work, for everything. I think that's when you start to see real improvement. So how quickly do people typically notice change, say in their sleeping patterns when they come to a stew? Do you have any examples that you can remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, for sure people notice it immediately, but remember, as soon as you stop doing these things, you kind of can go back into not sleeping well. So if you attend a sound bath class, obviously you can't attend a sound bath class every single night, but what it can do is once you have a couple good nights of proper sleep, it resets your system again, right? So we're resetting our clock. The circadian rhythm is back into place. It's your 24-hour sleep wake cycle clock. But you can't then just stop. That is when you start doing your morning routine at home. That's when you start doing your nighttime routine. You add the magnesium in there. You attend sound bath once a week or whatever is the thing that you're feeling, good about. Again, it's an actual routine that you're setting yourself up for success morning to evening, and the results are amazing. This is for somebody who struggles with sleep, not for somebody who has a very serious mental health concern where they're not sleeping at all. So I want
Yeah.
to clarify, this works for folks who are struggling with sleep, have some insomnia, not an actual clinical mental health diagnosis like a bipolar or a manic or something like that. Um, Immediately, it works immediately, but you have to stay consistent. You can't rely on these things to fix things, just like you can't rely on your therapist to fix your anxiety. And I do want to end on one thing. I'm actually a believer that you never recover fully from having anxiety. I will always be an anxious person. It's about managing your anxiety. If you look around, people are biting their fingernails, they're twirling their hair. I mean, we are an anxious population of folks. We have lots of stress, we have lots of pressure on us. I don't think it ever goes away. I just think we learn to manage it. And then it's not a problem anymore, right? It's not affecting your life the way it was previously. You can sleep at night. You don't wake up anxious the next morning. You're not chugging coffee because you didn't sleep the night before and now you've set yourself up for failure that day. You're not drinking alcohol to cope with the fact that you're anxious. So, just to kind of point out, like, it's an ongoing thing.
Mhm.
It's something you'll have to work on health forever.
Yeah, I would just add to that. So I think we probably think the same. Maybe you just worded it differently. I think an anxiety disorder, such as panic disorder, which I had, that you can overcome. And I think
Yes.
the disorders, so where anxiety is happening in a disorderly fashion, it's interfering with your day-to-day basis. Those things are you can overcome with therapy, with
You can
CBT, with exposure.
yes, you can treat the disorder and lessen the symptoms, right? But the moment we get off track or we stop taking medication or we don't go to therapy, you're allowing those things to creep back in again. So yes, that is correct.
So, and I think like you say, people like myself, you, whoever, there's definitely a genetic component, and people have a predisposition to high levels of anxiety or just not a good resilience to stress. So I think for those people, things like what you were doing, the wellness approach to someone's lifestyle is critical because these type of people when stress builds up, it then overflows into excessive anxiety. So we need to look at reducing the stress on a daily maintenance level, and that's where the lifestyle and the mindset, I believe, comes into play. And I think for someone who has a predisposition towards an anxiety disorder or these flares up of anxiety, if they're able to manage these stress levels on a daily basis, then that's going to help them over time to be able to, like you say, when anxiety comes, because it's a natural emotion, be able to
Yes.
tolerate it, to be able to sit with the uncertainty, to be able to not avoid the anxiety. So I think the maintenance is really, really important.
Yeah, the distress tolerance piece is huge, but even with cortisol levels and stress, you're not even just talking just about mental health and anxiety. We know cortisol levels, when they are increased in the body, it causes physical health things. So it's not even just for your mental health. Cortisol levels have been predetermined if their level is high for things like diabetes, heart condition, all those. What happens when you start having physical ailments? You get super anxious. So it's, there's a cycle here that we can interrupt if we just paid a little bit closer attention to our own needs. And like you said, Dean, it's something I love is that we look at these things as like, a luxury that like, this is, you should go to yoga. I'm busy. I'm a mom. I'm taking time away from my kids. No, you're making yourself better for you, your family, your partner, your job. When you take care of yourself, you are such a better person. You're in a better place. You're able to produce better. You're happier. You're not really necessarily nice to the people around you when you're super, super stressed or you don't feel well. It benefits you, it
It's you.
benefits them. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think that's a great place to end it on, Becca. I know you've got a little bit of a time restraint, so that I want to
Sorry.
say thank you so much for popping by with the community. I really appreciate all the questions. So informative. What I'll do, I'll take this off, edit it a little, then I'll put it onto Instagram just to get rid of the beginning of it. But for everyone who wants to follow your journey on social media, where can they find you? Yeah, where can they find you and support you?
You got it. It's Astute, ASTUTE underscore counseling underscore wellness. And I know there's a lot of comments happening right now, so I'm sorry if I didn't answer your questions. Just DM me. I'm happy to give
Mhm.
you some sleep advice. I know Dean's got tons of advice. We also sell a ton of retail supplements here at Astute, specifically for sleep, magnesium soaks, bath stuff, magnesium supplements, rollers. So just reach out if I can help with anything. And Dean, it is always a pleasure to see you. I will come chat with you any day of the week. And thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful for you.
No, thank you so much, Becca. Great to catch up. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.